What's going on, everybody? We're back for another episode of Sound Spotlight. Today, have somebody very special with me. Another one of my mentors, always pouring into people, representing women of wealth. Lexi's in the building. Good to see you, Lex.
Good.
So it's been a minute.
Well, it has.
I haven't seen you since Houston, which was last year.
Mm-hmm.
You've been grinding, I've been grinding.
Correct.
But let's talk business, because I know the entire org is going to get a lot of gems from this.
Most definitely.
So this is organic, we just going to kick back. So tell the people your backstory, tell them who you are.
What's up, you guys? My name is Lexi. I go by Lexi, Lexi J, whatever you want to call me. I am 23. I live in Atlanta, Georgia, but I'm actually from Tampa, Florida, and I came out here for school at Spelman College. I actually came upon my true passions at Spelman when I was studying for my degree in biology, and then my junior year I came across trading in the foreign exchange market, just investing all around. I started getting into stocks, everything you could possibly think of when it came to like residual income or multiplying your money. That's where I fell. I was working at Topgolf in college. Like, I worked at this Mexican restaurant, and I pretty much was able to quit from doing that after trading for probably 3 or 4 months.
Wow.
And so from there, I had secured a residual income, and I was also making a couple $100s off trading. I didn't necessarily need that much money to sustain myself at the time. So in order to replace my income, like, I just needed $1,000 or $2. Yeah. So when that happened, I was like, oh, I'm good to go. So that's when I kind of started taking that avenue seriously. And then, what it ended up blossoming into while I was still in college was what led me astray from my previous goals, and what has allowed me to kind of, since I've been done with college, still continue on the path that I've been on, which is, helping people learn how to trade, trading myself, investing, and just getting into different avenues of that.
Amazing. So that leads us right to our next question, women of wealth. How did you start it? Because you started with biology, and now you're in finance and investing and liberating people, right? Impacting people. So where did the name come from, and what's your foundation like?
So it's actually funny because I initially just liked this whole concept of pretty and paid, women who are pretty and paid and stuff like that. But then I just felt like when you when you hit take profit on a trade, you be like, wow, you know what I'm saying? Or when you accomplish something in life, you're like, wow. Right. So women of wealth is abbreviated to wow. So that is kind of where that came from. And then also, I just want women to feel like they have a space in a male-dominated industry, which is investing. If you go on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange, the Forex traders who trade for JP Morgan, Citibank, Goldman Sachs, all of those bigger brands, they are men. My brother's best friend, he actually used to work for JP Morgan, and there's predominantly men working there, especially in the finance department. And they literally just had the first female on the floor of the foreign exchange trade in New York City, who they allowed to pass the test and everything. And that was only a couple of years ago, 2 years ago. And she's also African American, but that set a precedent for, okay, well, women can do it too. So I just feel like there should be a space here where women are all right, we need to go, because even now there's not that many in the space of even network marketing. There's not that many women who are the top earners in the companies. There just isn't. So I want to help be a part of that shift. Not to mention, not to cut out the men or anything like that, because I do mentor men.
I was about to go to that. Every time I call you, if I'm ever feeling discouraged, you'll set me straight. And it's fire because you ultimately been working for yourself your entire career. And what's some advice you can give to people? Just anything general. We're gonna talk more advice a little later, but what's generally, if you're saying, all right, I'm in school, and I'm going to pursue this career, or I want to start a business, or I want to leave this career behind so I can start my business.
I think that you should always follow your passions specifically, but you should also think about what do I need to set in place first in order to set myself up for success. So that's kind of where I was okay, let me get mentors, let me get accountability partners, let me work with people who are already where I want to be at, so that I can get there faster. Because the smartest thing I think I personally did was get to people who had what I wanted, like honestly, and learn from them, because the worst thing you can do is think you know everything, like off the rip, because you don't. You don't. And you also have to be very self-motivated, because you can have a mentor, but that doesn't mean the mentor is supposed to hold your hand. That doesn't mean they're supposed to wake you up in the morning, put you to sleep at night, rock you when you have a bad day or anything like that. If you aren't somebody who's driven enough to continue going, if you have, a hiccup, then personally, I don't think entrepreneurship is for you, because it is something where you're going to have, you don't know what any day brings. So you have to be ready for anything, but you also need to be willing to put yourself in the rooms and make the connections with people, and not be scared to like go up to people you don't know and talk to people and travel and put yourself in the position to see the success, because you're going to have to sacrifice in the beginning. You are going to have to put majority of the money you make back into your business. Right. You're going to have to, get less sleep and talk to more people and put yourself, in uncomfortable positions. But at the end of the day, I mean, would you rather be a 6-figure earner who put themselves out there and, it's a year later and you took risks? Or would you rather be sitting a year later like, dang, if I had just done this, and this, then I would be somewhere. So that's like how I look at it. It's just like, the only thing you could do is really just go for it. And then, I mean, because the worst thing you could do is regret not having done something, because you can't get time back. So,
right. So you don't want the regret, so you got to have resilience.
Exactly.
2 R's, that's fire.
Exactly.
So let's talk about the business. When I first met you, I believe you had reached out to me on Instagram. I don't remember what rank it was, and then we met in person at an event, and ever since then, your energy just been on 10 as far as this works. Do you work? Right? So what has the process been for you growing? You've been through many seasons. And the last conversation we had, you said, this happens all the time. Don't panic. Right?
Correct.
So what has it been like?
I would say it's been up and down, as far as just like there being highs and lows in the business, and that's for anybody. But it's more so just like, are you going to come back from, a downturn? Because for any business, like especially network marketing, which this is, which both you and I do, rather, because I mean, who knows who's watching this video, but in a network marketing,
we all market to our network to some extent.
Right.
You know what I mean?
If you're in a business where you have to talk to people in order to build your business, in order to increase your income, in order to increase the impact, you have to be able to withstand the fact that there's going to be, uptrends in your business, then you're going to plateau. Then there's going to be some pullbacks with, lack of belief from people, and, people who, feel like they can't do something or whatever, and they might come back, or you will find, new people who are, now ready to get involved and everything like that, or people who end up coming back later on or whatever, and then you have another uptrend and you have another plateau. But the goal is to have these uptrends that continuously become, a new high from the previous high. And that's how you continue to grow in your business and grow as a person. So I definitely think that when you are in a business that relies heavily on you to be self-motivated, don't look at what other people are accomplishing as something to be envious of, more so something to use as inspiration for where you're going to be when you continue to put the work in. Because a lot of people, I think they actually halt their own success because they feel like they're not where they're supposed to be by a certain time. They feel like somebody else who started at the same time as them, or who, is the same age as them, or who's younger than them, who is doing quote unquote better than them at this point in their life. They end up actually, kind of diminishing their own successes and what they've accomplished thus far because they feel like they should be further ahead. But really, you should only be competing with yourself. Like, if you ever seen a horse race, I don't know if you've seen a horse race, but they wear these blinders on the faces of the horses, and it's solely because horses get so easily distracted if they could see who's on the right and who's on the left side of them. So it's literally to keep them looking straight at the finish line and only caring about what's in front of them. So when they're, have their jockey on them and they're just getting, whatever, like
so even
get,
an animal at that can move at that speed can still get
yes. And so the point is always keep your eye on the finish that you've set, not where everybody else is at, because you should only be using what's in front of you as motivation to get there faster, to be honest. So,
well, honey, I love it. So let's say that if we could take it back a few years and rewind, there's a girl right now who's 18, just like you. What's a piece of advice you could give her for the next 5 years?
Get started. Like, stop waiting for what you think is gonna be the perfect thing, or when you think is gonna be the perfect time, or when you have all your ducks in a row. Put whatever it is that you are, ready to start with, or whatever you have out there for feedback or for growth, or start the business or get the mentor, whatever, because you'll be light years ahead of everybody else starting as young as possible. I literally got started trading and I had just turned 20. I'm about to turn 24. And like the only thing I could say about it is that I wish I had started sooner. Like, honestly, the only thing I can say about it is I wish I had started sooner, because there are people who literally I've seen who are millionaires, like multi-millionaires, have sold their businesses, have made millions of dollars and continue to make millions of dollars off of businesses that they've been working on for years. And now what do? They either trade themselves, they either invest in a stock portfolio, or they have an account manager or a wealth manager who trades their money for them. So the wealthiest of people are people who are getting their money to work for them. So the younger you are that you're building up that capital and not just spending it on BS, no offense, yes, things, liabilities instead of assets, then you are going to be so much further ahead. Trust me, I do not care about that $200 bathing suit I bought freshman year of college for spring break. I really wish I had bought $200 worth of stock in Tesla, in Zoom, in all these different companies who have 50x'd from their IPO, which is their initial offering value. I mean, I would be so balling right now. So like, shoot, if I had even bought Bitcoin my freshman year of college,
you could have almost bought anything.
I could have almost bought anything besides, yes. So I mean, go ahead and be fly on your birthday, be fly and all that stuff. But I promise you'll be way more fly for the rest of your life if you just buy something that's on sale instead of something instead of that brand new House of CB dress and all that. You don't necessarily need it. That's just my personal opinion. Right.
I believe the way it breaks down in the conversation is the money you work for is the money you invest, right? Now, when your investments can take care of you and totally sustain you, that's when you can buy your heart's desire. So that's amazing. What would you say to a young person who sees our platform and says, investing isn't for me? Because that's actually something I've heard. Investing isn't for me.
I would say, okay, so this is what I like to say to people. This business isn't for anybody, but it's for everybody. Like, that's what I like to say. I think that anybody should give it a try, but I don't see how you could not make this business work for you, because there's two different opportunities that you have to do, right? If you're not somebody who's totally, bent on wanting to really, really learn how to invest yourself, the least you could do is put people on who are, So you have the ability to, make an impact on the lives of other people by providing them with the access to the education and the access to the knowledge. And then, by default, you're going to earn a residual check, because there's no reason for a company that's teaching about investing to throw up commercials when it's something that you just have to be ready to get involved with. So it makes more sense to come from people who are already doing it, or who are exposed to the product, to be putting out the information. So I mean, there's no reason really why you can't find a space for yourself in the culture, in the putting people on, in the just learning about the importance of wealth in a lot of the communities that don't have access to it right now, and being a change maker there. Or you can be somebody who freaking goes hands deep, whatever deep in the foreign exchange market, in, you know, learning binary options or learning about these cryptos that are booming right now,
right.
and, you know, becoming an investor, or both. So I think that somebody who says, you know, investing is not for me, I think that you should at least give it a try. And if you don't think the investing is for you, then maybe the marketing is for you, and you are somebody who's meant to be a voice to other people, to give them the opportunity, even if you don't want to take it yourself. So I think that there's, you know, that's a place that you can kind of close the gap.
And make a good living in the process.
Correct.
So Lex, so how does somebody tap in with you, plug in with your mentorship, follow your social media?
Yeah, so my Instagram is Lexi Jasmine, LexiJasmine. I'm on TikTok at the Lexi J Way, THELEXI, the letter J, WAY, and then I'm also on YouTube with the Lexi J Way, the same as it is on TikTok, just separate words. And I post a lot about investing on there, you know, funding your brokers, life of entrepreneurs, and then just lifestyle stuff on there. So I definitely have a lot of content coming to my YouTube channel, so definitely give that a follow. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Too fire. Ladies and gentlemen, we got another episode, Women of Wealth. Go ahead and run it back, because there was a lot. Pressure's been applied. I know everybody's about to have an amazing year, and that's why we're doing these interviews. So Lex came through to drop the gems. Have an amazing one. One love.